This is the table saw we use out of Gorman High School. We're going to go through the names of the parts and a little definition so you understand how and why they're used. Okay? So the first thing, this is the table on the table saw. This is the surface where you place your wood when you're cutting. Right here, this here is a guard. The guard protects your fingers from the blade. Open up the guard, and inside here you'll see a splitter. The splitter goes inside the saw kerf, which is a small space left after the blade cuts through the wood. It keeps your wood from coming back together. Back here, we have these little spring-loaded pieces. These are called anti-kickback fingers. They put a downward pressure on the wood, and they keep it from the wood being thrown back towards the operator. Inside here we have the insert, and this here is the blade. The blade is the part that cuts the wood. Right here we have a fence. The fence acts as a guide as you push your wood through, so your wood comes out the proper size. Up in the front here, we have an elevation crank. So the elevation crank raises and lowers the blade. It's nice and squeaky, as it always is. The way to remember is you're going to be raising and lowering the blade more often than changing the angle. So this one here is in front, it's more convenient. This here's your safety switch. This is how you turn on and off the table saw. On this side here, you have another wheel. If you rotate it, it changes the angle of the blade. So if you're making different cuts, a bevel cut, you will change the angle of the blade. If you look on the front here, this little switch here, that's called a tag out. The tag out kills power to the machine if you're changing a blade. And this part here is called a miter gauge. The main cutting function of the table saw is to rip, which is cutting with the grain, but sometimes you must make a cross cut, and you would use a miter gauge and push your wood through the saw to make your cross cut. And those are the parts of the table saw.